Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 110 for the week of May 27th, 2013. It's Memorial Day. Memorial Day?
Yes.
Memorial
Day.
It's a holiday, apparently. We don't celebrate holidays here, except for Christmas. We like Christmas. Yeah, Thanksgiving's fine too. I'm Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Omar.
Bryce.
Toby.
And that was very quiet, Toby. Charlie.
Very quiet. And special guest this week, direct from Fanime 2013, Dealer Room, the one, the only, Lane Terasaki, back for another visit. Lane, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, it's Artist Alley, not Dealer.
Artist Alley. Did I say Dealer's Room? Artist Alley. Yeah, it's what's the difference these days, really? You also Doctor Who shit, and that's all that matters. Doctor Who being the number one thing at Fanime, apparently. And Adventure Time.
Pretty close.
Even though it's not anime in any way, shape, or form.
And Loki.
And Loki Yaoi. Again, we'll get into this. Although not into the Loki Yaoi stuff.
Like gay Loki?
Movie Loki. Specifically, Avengers movie Loki Yaoi. Okay. Yeah.
What's a yaoi?
It's
gay
man on
Japanese
man
anime porn.
Hey Bryce.
Manga.
Hey Omar. Into the mic. There you go.
I think you
Sure,
heard it.
Mike.
Why don't you tell me what it
Repeat it, please, Bryce.
So just so I understand, it's gay anime porn manga.
Really, it's just boy and boy love.
Yeah, Yaoi is gay comics by women for women, featuring gay men. So it's all flowery and romantic.
I gotta say though, if it's for women by women,
Mostly.
being in San Francisco and living there for most of my life, and being a regular at Kinokuniya, I rarely ever saw women in that little yaoi section. It was usually just me and a bunch of other dudes.
What?
Wait a minute.
Just you?
Wait a minute.
What were you doing there?
Wait a minute. Oh, you gotta edit that part out, bro.
Is it called Yahweh because that's the sound they make when you
Yaoi!
get there?
But we are a few mics short, so if you hear some distant talking, I'll make sure people get on mic. So we'll get that situated here because we're a few mics short tonight. So we're doing some sharing here.
We're one mic short.
It's two more than it should be.
Omar and I can Yahweh over this.
Okay, all right.
Is that the right way of saying it?
I think so. I like it.
So
You guys go share that mic, please.
Lane, before we started recording, you actually Bryce had asked if you were going to do your comic Secret Origin, which I think I thought we had done, but I guess you said we did like a manga or like anime Secret Origin.
Last year was the anime episode.
Okay,
And we
so
just did the anime Secret Origin.
okay, so we never did your comic Secret Origin. So
Not that I remember.
okay, well, do you want to talk about your comic Secret Origin?
Yes, he does. All right, it's done. Now you got to do it.
First introduction to comics was in elementary school. I had a best friend. His brothers were heavily into comics, and he gave me some comics for free, which was, I don't remember the numbers, but a really early issue of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Cool.
And then after that, I started collecting, I was into toys, obviously, as a kid, so I started collecting Transformers comics.
Nice.
And then then I saw the Jim Lee comic, and it went from there.
So it was like mid-late 80s?
Yeah.
Okay, so like kind of the height of the Transformers comic stuff?
in the
Nice.
beginning of that, all the way through to the end, till they canceled it.
Cool. Do you have those last handful of issues?
Not anymore.
Wow. Those are pretty pricey. Yeah, those end issues of Transformers are wicked expensive. I mean, maybe not as expensive as the first issue, but yeah, pretty rare. Just because the print runs are so low. Just like the G.I. Joe comics, same thing. And Star Wars, really low because people stopped reading them, and now everyone wants them.
No, sadly, I don't have them anymore. Wish.
So where do your comics go after Transformers and Jim Lee? Jim Lee leads you to Wildstorm, right?
Well,
Your one true
that was
love.
before Wildstorm. So that
No, I know,
will be
but
into
eventually.
X-Men, and then the good old Image
Yeah,
starting.
X-Men.
Yeah,
Lane is a hardcore Wildstorm fan.
I still am.
R.I.P.
Still am.
Hardcore
R.I.P.
Wildstorm guy.
Big time.
Did you ever finish your jam pieces?
No.
Lane for many years was trying to get the commissions done where he has each Wildstorm artist to do a different character and do a giant jam piece. And he was working on that for years, and he still are, it looks like.
Yep, I'm probably 4 characters short of finishing 4 teams.
Who still needs to do it?
Well, I'm picking different artists, hopefully, that haven't worked on. So it's kind of like there's a lot of artists that I haven't just met in general.
Yeah.
All East Coasters or so. Like
It's
one
pretty
I've been,
cool.
Yeah, one I've been trying to get to is Sean Phillips, but he always comes when I'm not around.
He's so unlike the rest of the people that worked at Wildstorm. So I love John Phillips.
The one piece he has is really cool. He has Jim Lee Voodoo in the middle. I think it was Lee Bermejo doing Grifter on the left.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And what was on the right? There was some.
Wait, Jim Lee do a commission?
No, it was a standing line, and luckily got one.
Nice.
After like 5 tries or something like that, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Mike Lopez Voodoo on the end.
Oh, was it Voodoo? Oh no, it was a Voodoo, and Mike Lopez is Voodoo, and Jim did
Zealot, I think.
Zealot. Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
cool.
that
But
piece alone.
did Jim do it to match up to the rest of the pieces?
Yes,
that's
they're
awesome.
all lined up, and I have like a Travis and Rich, friend, Carlos, Standa.
Did he know that's what you're doing?
Yes,
That's awesome.
I talked to him before. Talked to him there, and he said it was okay.
That's awesome.
It's really, really, really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Excellent. You're kind of all over the map these days. I mean, you get a lot of DC. You get
Mostly DC.
Yeah. You get some.
You have good taste.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
No, I'm just saying. And you get a lot of well because
We're gonna get more hate now again.
Wildstorm comes to
Yes.
comes to DC. And
How do you think he's such good friends with Ryan? It wouldn't be friends with Ryan.
There's something going on after.
Then how are
Yeah.
you friends with Ryan?
Yeah.
That's a little. What's it
What's the
called?
term of a friend?
Umpai or something? Yahweh.
Yahweh. Oh, it's a Yahweh friend?
That's like the theme of the day. Make sure to hashtag Yowie, and we'll expand upon our listeners.
Well, last week I had the Yowie Green Arrow shot for our I had the shirtless Ollie shot for our podcast image.
Oh, yeah.
So
No,
maybe,
that was very Yowie.
yeah, maybe we'll do another Yowie
Yeah,
shot.
I
2
like
weeks in a row.
one of the guys in the forums called it what, Ollie porn?
Oh, it totally is.
That's great. I like that term. I'm a hashtag every time Ollie is doing that shit.
It's surprising. There actually is a lot of Ollie porn out there.
There's a lot. Real porn or just Ollie porn?
Just the
Shirtless.
drawings. Yeah.
Go on Tumblr. Next
No,
to
I'd
all,
rather not.
Next to all the gay Loki stuff is gay Oliver Queen stuff
Oh,
all
no.
over the place. It's all.
is there
over.
I don't understand why women love these guys to be with other guys, though. It doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't the woman want the guy to be with them?
It just turns them on, I guess. They like it.
Okay.
Why do guys like 2 chicks? It's just something they like. So
I prefer 2 chicks and a guy.
Anyway,
At the same time?
Wow.
With you?
Okay, I think we need to change this theme because we're all becoming a little too yaoi for
Yowie.
each other.
let's move on to something a little less homosexual, and that's Fanime 2013.
Well, is it really? Is it really?
Not really, actually.
Yeah, I was like, isn't that going into more of a pedophile section?
No.
Depends how old you are. When you're
last-
Ryan, me, and Rafi, it is.
Oh, we'll get into that. The last few years, especially, I've been going to Fanime. One of our friends here at the store has been coming with us. And Lane, you've been doing Artist Alley there for a number of years now.
About 10 years now, I think.
Yeah.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, you've been setting up there. Toby, you were there a little bit on Friday and for a few hours today with us.
Yeah.
The rest of you guys, Charlie, I'm surprised you don't go to. You legitimately like manga and anime. Like, did you just not Fanime not do it for you, or just not?
Not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I know these guys.
Maybe
Well,
I
Omar
just-
does. I think Omar likes a little bit of it. I know the rest of these white guys don't give a crap about it. But
I guess the way I kind of look at it is
Omar likes
at,
the underage girls.
at Comic-Con, I kind of feel like it's become a weird amalgamation of like all the different types of cons at this point.
Right.
I mean, you have the gaming stuff there, you have the anime stuff there. You have, like, I don't know.
It's not
my
because
brain just
going there. You
So
scare
if they
a lot of
had a
people.
Doctor Who convention in San Francisco, and because it's only Doctor Who, you wouldn't go to that, huh?
unless they actually manage to have it be a. I was actually explaining this to somebody recently. My problem with Doctor Who conventions right now is the best they can do is get somebody remotely connected to Doctor Who to show up and like when it comes to general booths to buy Doctor Who stuff at, I have plenty of opportunity to buy Doctor Who stuff
That's
away
true.
from there.
That's true.
It's
So you
just-
actually wouldn't go?
No.
Wow.
unless they actually manage to, because here's the thing: the best experience I can get with Doctor Who is when it's being cross promoted at like Comic Con or it was at WonderCon, and like it's just sort of this sort of sad time we live in a way where specific cons that celebrate something aren't necessarily as well supported as the cons that celebrate a lot of things.
Yeah. But we could go to England, go for a Doctor Who experience. I heard you get to be in the TARDIS and stuff like that.
Realistically, I would be very interested in doing that, but it's the same way I've been saying for years. One of these years, I need to make it to the Red Dwarf Dimension Jump Convention, which is well supported in the UK. So
Nice.
Would you even fit in a TARDIS?
it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah, someone obviously doesn't know.
Yes. Well, it's funny you mentioned Doctor Who because we mentioned this probably when we talked about Fanime last year. But this year, anime cons, from what I've gathered from people that go to other ones and AX and some of the East Coast ones, and definitely Fanime, the amount of non-anime stuff there is staggering. The things I bought there included a Futurama T-shirt, a Doctor Who T-shirt. Toby bought the same Doctor Who T-shirt I bought. He bought a
awesome.
Korra Avatar shirt.
Yes.
I mean, everyone there was cosplay. Doctor Who, Adventure Time, My Little Ponies, fucking Homestuck. All this non-anime stuff. Tons of non-anime stuff. Artist Alley, full of Pokemon and Sailor Moon and stuff like that.
I did buy a robot.
But a lot, yeah, you did, and I bought that Battle Royale Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
But there is a lot of non-anime stuff there. We were making fun of all the Loki yaoi, but I'm not kidding, Lane. You were there. Every other booth had
the butt shot Loki.
Yeah,
Bryce, you would like it.
I didn't really get a look around.
Okay.
I was at the booth most of the time.
Well, we'll talk about your booth experience in a little bit here, but. It's interesting walking around the dealer room at this place and just how little... Well, not how little. It's maybe 60-40 anime over like U.S. stuff, but there's a lot of U.S. stuff there.
Some Young Justice.
Especially Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, a little bit of Young Justice, and occasionally we got a couple of cosplayers and American comic stuff.
Yeah.
Did they still have weapons training?
Yes,
There must have been, yeah.
That's like my favorite shit.
You see a lot. There's a lot of
Weapons training?
What kind of weapons?
Awesome. What?
Yeah.
Yaoi weapons?
Well, they were
donglers,
nunchucks, so it's kind of like I was holding two dildos. But,
they'll have a lot.
helicopter.
They'll have a room, Bryce, where it's like, here's how to use a sword, and they'll.
Can you go kick someone's ass? Can you just go off on like a 14-year-old kid? Go, I'm gonna kick your ass with a sword.
Yeah. No. You have to pay extra for that.
Oh, okay.
No.
That room exists.
But dealer room is cool. The problem with dealer rooms, though, and I think you see less of this at comic conventions. Although there's a lot of dealers that are just ripping people off left and right. I think you get some okay deals these days at comic conventions because I think they understand they have to compete with the internet and other stores and things like that. Anime, it's like, F you guys. How much do you want this? We're gonna rip you over a barrel for it. And it was hard to buy stuff there, I have to admit. Part of it because I own the store, so I can get a lot of that stuff cheaper through the store. But when I'm seeing these DVDs for $10 over MSRP, when you go on Amazon and get this like Tiger and Bunny Blu-ray set of seasons 1 and 2 for like $20 on Amazon, and that's not even that's a kind of a common price, and these guys got it for $59.99. It's like, dude, you're not even living in reality. Like, why even have it at that point? There's no reason. So who's going to buy this? There's this one booth that had these out-of-print DVDs for like $300-400 just sitting on a shelf. Like, it wasn't even like behind a glass case. It was just like, nope, I'm like, okay, $20, $200, why is this on here? Like, who's going to buy this here?
So I was checking out a few boards, and I was talking to a few friends that referred me to different boards because they're all stoked about Fanime, and they supposedly have been like exercising and working out and going to more Nerf tournaments and stuff like that so they can get in better shape. And I was like, I'm totally serious because, Fanime is they
like to be half naked all the time.
For some of them,
costumes and stuff.
They don't go to the Comic Con. You don't go to Comic Con. They don't go to New York Comic Con. But the Fanime is like their shit. And I was like blown away that how many people hook up there and shit. Like I was just like talking with people, and I know it's not supposed to be talked about and stuff, but I don't participate, so I can't.
Yeah, you're gonna get us banned from next year.
Well, come on, Fanime is every 17-year-old kid's first con party in the Bay Area, right?
The 17-year-old, but there are tons of people that are there, in their 20s and 30s and 40s participating.
Well, they're now in their 20s and 30s, right? They were 16, 17 when they first started going, and I actually noticed this. I may have mentioned this last time. I mean, the average age of Fanime is pretty young, but it's maybe a year older than it was last year. And I think it's going to be a year older next year. I don't know that there's a lot of kids there. The little kids is definitely not. I think we've kind of got away from the 14, 15-year-olds there. It seemed like most of the people were closer to that 18 to 21 age. Where previous years that I had been, no, they were 14, 15. Lane, I mean, you obviously probably saw a lot of people through the dealer room. Does it look like...
He was in the artist room.
Or artist room. Fucking whatever. Does it look like...
Whatever. There's a difference. There's drawing and selling.
But it's the same thing. They're selling to. Do you get this?
Yes.
Does it look
I
like
agree.
it's getting a little older?
This year was a little different because we were separated by a lot more distance. But yeah, definitely it's older now. The crowd feels that way.
Yeah. But Lane, I want to hear about, speaking of being separated by a great distance, I want to hear your adventures in Artist Alley. Hey, Artist Alley. I said it right.
But Artist Alley, there's another thing we got to point out. I want to say the first time Artist Alley is put away in a tent next to the convention center.
That's what I wanted Lane to talk about.
Oh, fine. I just wanted to introduce it.
Oh, you were stuck in the tent?
Yes,
Ooh.
the tent that Big Wow used to be at.
Yeah. So for people that have ever been to the comic Big WoW convention the last few years or Fanime in the past, it takes place at the San Jose Convention Center, which is going through some remodeling, so it's kind of right now. But it's a pretty big location. I mean, it's a pretty big setup.
Took me forever to walk the subway. Shit.
I just want right across the street. What are you talking about?
Through the fucking convention
Oh, yeah,
center.
sure. But this year they did something different. If you're familiar with San Jose, there's a big, giant blue...
and white striped tent.
Yeah, tent in downtown San Jose. It feels like you're in a wind tunnel when you're in there. Mm-hmm.
With no wind.
So this is not actually connected to the convention center. This is like a block and a half down.
Yes.
What did they do this year, Lane?
They moved Artist Alley all the way into the tent.
Arguably the biggest...
Yes, there were over 400 tables in Artist Alley this year.
Yeah.
So easily, by far, the biggest probably of any convention.
Yeah.
For Artist Alley. But yes, the main convention was probably 2 blocks away for most walking people. And not to mention registration was yet another block away.
In a hotel.
Yes.
Registration has always previously been at the convention center. Mm-hmm. So they've now expanded out convention center, hotel, and then this other part. Which is and it's not like these are all attached like San Diego Comic Con is. These are physically blocks away, and you would have no idea it was there if there's one sign at the exit. It's it's out there.
Yeah, the signage was really bad. A lot of complaints about that. And you have to cross major streets to get to these things, so it's not easy.
Taking that corner down First Street, everyone was crossing that street. You physically couldn't turn their car there. Mm-hmm. There was just a constant stream of people crossing there. They might as well just shut that street down because there was no way to get across.
They really should.
Yeah, it was terrible. Do you think this affected your sales, your visibility? Did people complain about it? Pretty much.
It varies. Personally, I wasn't selling anything any physical objects. So my friend and I were there mostly just.
What were you selling, Ben?
Well. We were mostly there to promote our art club. So we were giving away... which is BAU, or Bay Area Artists Unite, BAAU. And we were doing free commissions for everybody that was interested. So as far as sales, we don't have any. But talking to other people, sales did tend to be... Depending on where you were seated. It's a long wind tunnel, so it's a long rectangle. Now, it's 3 rows across... But if you're in the middle rows facing inward, they did pretty well. The farther back they were, the worse they did. But also, if you're facing the walls, they did pretty bad, they said.
Huh.
Because less foot traffic.
Yeah, because there's only one way to look at things.
Right, and that was one of the complaints.
Yeah, the people in the middle, there was basically this giant walkway in the middle where me and Toby went through a few times, and you could see both sides, but if you're in the side, you're only there for that one end piece.
Yeah, they really should have lined up tables on the other side, too. Maybe shorten the whole thing. Rather than make it this long, maybe shorten it.
Or shift everything over half a row.
Yeah.
Would have been good.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to do this next year?
Maybe. There's talk. It really depends on what the construction ends up looking like. Because I don't know what the plans are for the convention center.
Yeah, because right now, it's like the convention center squeezed all the front stuff into nothing. And it's you've somehow made this place almost seem smaller, even though it's supposed to get a lot bigger. So, I know they're still working on it, but unless they completely open up that front area, I don't see what the point of it. If it's just a visual difference, I don't see why. They had that in front area. It was pretty nice. They had the big fountain, and cosplayers love that.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Fanime as one of these places where half the people that go there don't actually have badges. They go, they cosplay. All your hookup friends, Omar, they're just standing in the front in their frilly costumes and gay Loki outfits.
Did you get solicited by any cosplayers?
No, I did not. No. And they basically just stand there and they do their photo shoots all day long for 4 days.
What I gotta say,
You did not because Leanne was around, or you did not?
I did not.
Okay.
I gotta say, like, I was blown away by seeing like how many of the big cosplayers were like actually here and not at like Phoenix Comic Con.
Fanime gets a big turnout. I mean, they get
Mm-hmm.
15,000 people maybe.
Fanime is pretty huge.
I've heard up to 20,000.
Yeah, probably unticketed 20,000. Probably, I would assume. Ticketed probably 13 to 15. Roughly, or like
No, I think that was ticket.
That's 20,000 ticket.
Yeah.
If that's 20,000 tickets, then they're getting maybe close to 30,000 people through there because there's definitely a lot of unticketed people through there.
Well, also don't forget all people like Artist Alley. We actually have to have tickets even if we don't leave our table.
Oh, that's right. Did they count that? They probably
yeah,
do.
they do.
Okay, so so maybe not quite
That's
that much,
douchey.
but yeah, you have to buy your ticket if you have an artist alley
Yes.
table.
So you
And
could buy a
have
table and not have access to your table.
Yeah,
Yes, no, that's true. Well, technically they won't. You could pay for it, but they won't let you have the table if you don't have a badge.
yeah.
Wow.
That sucks. But Fanime's cool, and I like going to it. There wasn't any real panels this year that I went to a couple, and they were all kind of like, a bunch of kids run panels and super uncomfortable, and not that they didn't know what they were talking about, but they were not panelists. I mean, they're just kids talking about
the
things.
chairs are smaller, so it's uncomfortable to sit in those, right?
They're just standard chairs. Artist out dealer's room was cool. I said I picked up a couple things. Lane, did you get around at all?
No, I never left the table.
Jeez.
It's
So you were
okay.
there for 4 days.
Yeah, I was there all 4 days.
yeah.
But
Toby,
it was good.
Toby, because you got to spend a little bit of time Friday night and then most of today. What was your take?
Same old. I'm glad these people have an outlet for whatever they like, and it was fun. Went to the dealer room with you, Ryan, and picked up a couple of small things. On Friday it was kind of a rush. I had like half an hour, so I went through the upstairs in like 20 minutes, and then I went and see Lane and said hello, and then ran through that for like 15 minutes, and literally I was speed walking. Cool. Oh, I have to come back and see that. Okay, gotta go. But I always like it. Going to these things just because there's always interesting people and people liking their stuff, and it's just fun. But it's the same. To me, it's the same as the last couple of years. I mean, it was definitely different from like 10 years ago when Fanime was like a small thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now it's a
last
huge
few
thing.
years.
Yeah. It's just blown
Quadrupled in size.
up. Pretty crazy. I do feel like an old man going through that stuff though.
Oh.
It's really weird.
We'll talk about that in a second. But when I started going, I want to say the first time I went was maybe 98, 99. That sounds right. Like maybe it was like 18, 19, right around then. I went once or twice, and then I didn't go for a long stretch of time.
Yeah.
And then I started going maybe 4 years ago again.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, it's so different.
It's like night and day.
I went, I believe, did they used to have it at the Santa Clara, or
It was
Yeah,
in
the Santa Clara Convention Center.
Yeah, and then I
that's the one. That's the one next to Great America.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I may have been there. Would you remember when they left there?
That was quite a while ago.
That's
I remember
a while
going
ago.
away.
That may have been. I may have gone to like one of the last or like second to last there. That 90, 99, 2000, maybe somewhere in that range. Does that sound right? Have they been here for 10, 12 years? Or does it feel like it's been longer? I can look it up.
Yeah.
Probably about 10 years.
Okay, yeah. So that's probably around the time I went. It was a couple of years they were there, and it was cool, but it was nowhere near this. So.
No. It was all stretched out, too.
Oh yeah. But Toby, what you were saying, so we're not old.
Yeah.
But at this convention, we are old.
You guys are some fucking pervs, dude. That's what it is.
Even if the average
It's
age
not
is
even
getting
that.
old, even if the average age is getting older, we're old. No, we were with
Yeah.
a friend Raphael who is mid 40s and I'm mid 30s and Toby's a couple years younger than me. And
It felt a little weird.
it does feel weird, and I say this every time I go. I still have fun, but it's like we are literally struggling to get up from sitting on the floor at the end of the convention, and these kids are like, oh my God, I've been high.
Free hugs.
I've been high for 4 days, and I'm still fucking going like an Energizer bunny. And me, we're like fucking getting our walkers and trying to stand up from the ground. And I'm like, oh, my legs have been walking for an hour. They hurt so bad.
I realize when I'm old is because I actually, occasionally there's a cute cosplayer. I'm like, I'll take a picture of you. I did not dare to ask at this convention. I'm like, I just feel wrong. I'm
Well,
like,
see, that's the problem. I think you got to go there and cosplay, and then it's like it's all
okay.
open. It's all
okay.
good
Then
because
it's all
no
good.
one sees
No,
your face.
I
You're
don't
kind of
think-
like in.
No,
within it.
that's worse. I mean, that's worse.
I told him, I go, what I'm going to have to do next year is just cosplay as the old anime guy, right? The old, the crotchety
you
old.
gotta have a little bold big finger.
Yeah. I'll go as like the grandfather from like Ranma or something like that, and then I can totally be a pervert, and no one's going to say anything. It's like, oh, cool, he's cosplaying, right? I mean,
no.
that's how you get away with it, right? I mean,
And your baby face with no facial hair. Nobody would know.
dude, okay,
Toby, they'd
so-
be like, facial hair. He's at least 16.
there's a anime called Tiger and Bunny that I really like. And I gotta finish it. I'm like halfway through the series. I put it aside and haven't finished it. You watched that? Did you watch? You don't watch Tiger and Bunny?
Evidently, I need to. But
Yeah, it's
no,
like the
not so
superhero
far.
one. Do you know this?
Yeah, it's been recommended by was it Kenzo or
I think
Kenzo.
all the guys on the forum love Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah.
So one of the guys has like kind of the goatee and the dude. I saw more people cosplay as this guy there that had to draw on the goatee
with Sharpie.
with a Sharpie that can actually just grow it. That tells you the problem.
Can you actually grow it?
Dude, contrary to popular belief, yes, I can't grow facial hair. I shave like every other day.
Why don't you grow a beard
I
just for once
hate
in your life?
facial
Who
hair.
cares? Just grow
I
it
do.
once.
I've grown it out before. I hate facial hair.
Growing it out like 5 o'clock shadow is not growing it out.
I had surgery a number of years ago. I did not shave for many weeks afterwards, and I hate it.
Is there a picture of it?
I don't know. There might be. I hate it. I hate facial hair. Anyway.
I still think your idea of dressing up like the pervy old man might actually be the perfect plan there, though.
Well, because I mean,
We gotta have a camera and giggle and go.
You gotta
Let me
act the
take
part.
pictures of you.
Yeah, right. If you're running around grabbing panties from people all over the place, I mean, look, if you're 35, if you're 34, 35 years old, you are old at these things. Even if the average age is getting a little bit older. Now, 10, 20 years from now, maybe not be that. Maybe the average age, I don't know. But you still feel, oh God, it's rough. You feel old there. Even you, Omar.
Why do you think I didn't go this year?
Dude, you're like 10. You look like easily 10 years younger than you are. But even you're gonna be there and be like, dude, I just can't do it.
Yeah,
I just can't. It's rough. It's fun, but you feel it. You feel it.
This is the year I could have really went because there's a group of friends that went and they all dressed up like Tekken and shit. But I'm always just gonna be a stormtrooper, so like that just kind of makes me stand out. But at the same time,
There were a couple stormtroopers there.
a couple. See, that's
Yeah.
the problem. I need a bunch of them because then I can get
needs
away
a
with a
little
lot more
army.
shit. You know what I mean? Because I can just blend.
That way,
As he went home, I thought
it was
he's
a
like-
stormtrooper. You can just.
You gotta slap some guy in the face and go into your stormtrooper
Exactly.
group. And no, it's
Yeah.
whoa,
Like,
wait a
Comic-Con-
minute, I lost him.
Go
Hundreds of
to
them.
is a stormtrooper or a red shirt. You're fucking good to go.
It's hundreds of them, right? Yeah.
I can say one thing that's different though. I want to say just only a couple years ago. I want to say actually, well, I didn't go on the busy days, but I want to say before I would see parents taking their kids, and I want to say I didn't see that this year around. It's almost
a
gone.
couple, a very few.
Yeah, but it seems like a couple of years ago, it seemed like a lot of parents would take their kids. It's almost like either they got scared the fuck away. Like, they're like, oh, hell no, we're not taking our kids to this thing no more. Or they're grown up and they're going themselves now.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be really bad at anime conventions because they'd have all these idiots running through the halls, screaming and yelling and free hugs and just, all these internet memes and stuff. They've really toned that down. I only caught one person that smelled bad this year, and I think I may have mentioned this last year because I remember it. No,
The
seriously.
same guy as last year.
Cons kick you out now. Like anime cons, especially. If you're like, you stink, you're gone. You have to go. Like people
Really?
will be like, yeah.
Is there a smelling police?
There totally is.
They go around smelling people?
I don't know about
That
specifically.
sounds like the fucking worst job ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
about,
you could stay. You could stay too. You're on the borderline. If you take a shower tonight, you'd be good.
I don't know.
Oh, you get the fuck out.
I don't know about Fanime, but I absolutely know other anime conventions literally have people that go around smelling people just to see if you're like, dude, you haven't washed your fucking fursuit in 3 days. Get the hell out of
You
here.
haven't washed your fur.
I want to say I saw a Captain Planet guy.
I did see at the very end. I saw Captain
Okay.
Planet walking around. That shit was all painted on.
Yeah, but I also saw him on Friday.
Okay.
And today I saw him, the paint was half coming off. I wonder if he's been Captain Planet all 4 straight days and that shit just coming off at this point.
Only his bed sheets now. Okay, only his bed sheets now. Yeah.
That guy really made me wonder.
Yeah. Again, they do crack down on that stuff. So because it's just not healthy. You can't have these people that haven't bathed or showered for 4 or 5 days walking around coughing up, being sick. There's no con plagues going around. I'm sure there is to a degree, but less so than there probably have been in past years.
We're not painting nice pictures.
No, but if people know anime conventions, it is legitimately better than it used to be because they used to. Even though you'd have a quarter of the people, it'd smell 10 times.
So do you think gaming conventions need to instill this smelling rule?
No, they already done that. They started there.
Oh, they started there.
They started there.
Most conventions have started instituting certain rules to.
They have to.
I think it's funny. It's
literally the worst. It's the most disgusting thing. And if you have fucking hundreds of thousands of fucking just smelly ass dudes sitting in a room, no one wants to go into that room.
I want to say 5 years ago, Mattel they gave out He-Man deodorant at the San Diego Con.
Nice.
Was it 3 years ago? Yeah, that was excellent. I thought that was hilarious. And I was there's a kind of a smelly buddy of mine. I was gonna take a bunch of those and just put it on his car. Here's 5 of them. Just use them.
Who's the name of the green guy? You should know.
Mossman.
Yeah, Mossman.
It's what was Mossman Forest scent deodorant. So it's
fantastic.
excellent. Yes.
I mean, one of these years, maybe next year, I'll actually full on do I'll go to the after party stuff or the after con stuff. I'll go to the show.
Ash.
Maybe I'll go to the show because they have they get some bands that play there, and I'm sure they get a decent turnout for that. I'll go to the rave because. God, no. That'd be even worse. I couldn't even imagine that. But I'll actually
Would you
maybe
go cosplay as the old anime man?
Maybe.
At the rave?
At the rave?
Feel like, my little cane.
Yeah.
Give me panties.
Hey, if you want to feel younger, I forgot. You can always go to the Clockwork Alchemy.
Okay, that's the flip side. That's the flip side. That's the steampunk con that Fanime puts on at the same time, and there's a bunch of old people there. So I saw them
when you retired. You go in that section.
Yeah, all the people that were there for Fanime, I see occasionally be like, "Oh, there's just steampunk people," and they're like 60. Fucking steampunk.
It's like Baycon, right?
It's the worst. Oh, Baycon's this weekend. Don't even get me started on Baycon, dude. That thing needs to die. Baycon's the worst. Anyone that doesn't know Baycon, hopefully you've never heard of this. It actually used to be a pretty legit sci-fi con in the Bay Area. It's turned into like the same sad 300 people that are there every year paying like $100 for a weekend of no guests, no dealer room, no nothing. Like why this thing still exists is beyond
Maybe
me.
Nothing to you. Maybe they have a giant orgy at night and they're happy as and shit.
Oh, you're not far off.
Exactly.
Okay, I've heard stories.
Yeah, key parties.
They have it at Power Exchange, right?
You're not far off. You're not far off, Toby. No, it's in Santa Clara, but they've gone from like hotel to small hotel to like even smaller hotel. So yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, I know for a couple of years their Baycon was very popular within the gaming crowd because like they'd have games like role playing games and board games and all that running like all weekend long.
Yeah, but I think they phased most of that out.
Yeah,
I think it's more just
and didn't KublaCon start up like the same weekend?
Is that this weekend too?
I don't know if it was this weekend, but I know the last few years it was on like the same weekend as Baycon, and killed Baycon.
And Baycon's the same weekend as Fanime. Yeah. It's like, what is wrong with you people? There's Memorial Day's a good weekend, but let these people have it. There's other weekends.
Actually, I disagree. I think Memorial Day is a bad weekend just because a lot of people actually plan on doing other things.
But I mean, if you have something like Fanime that's been here for at least a decade in the same weekend,
it's actually something that always bothered me because for quite a few years I'd be like, Lane is like, "Hey, there's Fanime this weekend. What come and do this?" And I'm like, "I got to go to LA and do this other thing, right?" And I usually try and make it back for a half a day or something.
Sure. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's Fanime. We'll probably talk more. Lane, anything you want to? Anything?
We didn't talk Loki yet.
Jeez.
It's a big and important part.
I guess the only thing I would say is that it felt like this year, mostly because of the problems with like registration, a lot of registration problems this year.
Oh, well.
Isn't that a problem every year?
Well, last year the power went out.
Last year was power. This year they didn't have enough staff. So people are waiting in line up to 6 hours.
Based?
The fact,
it's all volunteers.
Well, the fact that we're over 20 years of Fanime, and the fact that it's a 6-hour wait for registration, it's
ridiculous.
They need to mail that shit out. They can't do this.
Is Fanime still run by basically fans.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So there's no like.
Well, they have a staff. I mean, they have a small paid staff, if I'm not mistaken, and then a lot of volunteers.
I figure no offense to what they charge, but I figure with what they charge, they can hire more people to make it run more efficient, or is it just San Jose that's taking all that money?
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming at this point it's pretty expensive because they're renting out the whole convention center.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap. I mean, $65 for Thursday through Monday.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't.
But the
complain.
1 day price is
I
outrageous.
think it's more the 1 day prices that really like made me go, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, the 1 day prices are
I mean,
outrageous.
the weekend price is actually pretty darn fair.
I think Thursday's no badge. Monday's a half day, but then you're talking still 3 full days of stuff, and for $65, that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. For something like this.
So I guess the only other issue is like the big one was Artist Alley being moved wasn't apparently. I didn't know until later. The program booklet doesn't even tell you where it is.
Oh, what?
There's a sign that says, "Oh, go to South Hall." It does not have a picture where it is.
Oh, that's lame.
And there's only one sign on one door that told you where to go. Which, if you couldn't get to the door, you never knew where to go.
That's pretty lame. That's pretty lame.
Now, I think you told me you thought there may have been something with the fire marshal because of all the construction and the way they've narrowed down everything. Because the hallways
inside in the main convention center were also narrowed down because of the construction on the front side. So probably fire marshal doesn't want as many people rushing through those narrow hallways.
Well, because I know a lot of the cosplay stuff ended up being on the inside the convention center, but not inside the badged, the ticketed part of it. So it's right inside the front lobby there of where
or in front of the Fairmont Hotel.
And in front of the Fairmont, like that's annoying because you're on a main street there. But that inside that was pretty packed on Monday. That was pretty packed. So I can't even imagine that place on like Saturday afternoon. I'm sure it was wall to wall.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
When I went, I parked on the back, and so I saw people going into the blue tent. So I kind of had a clue that something was happening there. But when I went,
I knew it was there because we were told it was there. But if you don't know, you would.
Here's the thing. I mean, I had a clue just because people went in, and I didn't really have a clue. I actually went to pick up my badge, and the first thing I did was call up Blaine and go, "Hey, where are you?" Because I'm in the blue tent. I was like, really? I was like really, really surprised by it.
Yeah. And I heard weird reports. Like one report said that, I heard a conversation. They said that people found Artist Alley because artists were handing out flyers during the registration line just to get them to find out where it was.
That's fucked up.
And on the bright side, though, I think that because it was moved to the South Hall and because of that walk, people who were in Artist Alley, the customers. The people that went to it were more dedicated because they actually took the time to figure out where it was and go there. Mm-hmm. So they were
more invested.
Like they were a better audience. Like they would actually take the time to talk to you about what they like, what they don't like.
Okay. Yeah.
They're more appreciative of of what they got or what they were interested in.
That's cool.
More than previous years.
That's cool. I mean, I know you get a lot of commission requests. What were some?
This year, a lot of it actually varied. That's what I'm saying. Like they were more appreciative. We didn't get we got a couple. Like someone asked for Darth Vader riding a unicorn, but I mean, there was a little bit less of this where they're just the old joke of let's stump the artist. They were actually serious characters that they were interested in, like their favorite characters. I was surprised, but I got a lot of people asking me for Marvel and DC characters, like Deadpool. I was asked for a few times. Just
got to pay Disney. Watch out.
A lot of anime characters, just fan favorite stuff. A lot of video game ones too.
Yeah. Well, they actually, one thing I do want to real quick before we move on. In the previous years, the video game and gaming center of Fanime was this huge room that was 3/4 empty. In the past, even as far as last year, I felt that place was not properly utilized.
There's a video game place?
Yes.
Yeah, that whole first where Big WoW
was. Yeah, I thought it was just gaming.
Well, it's video games, gaming. They actually, it was pretty legit this year.
Yes.
They had full on real PC setups. They had Dota, League of Legends tournaments. I was there on Sunday. I was watching a bunch of Dota games.
Street Fighter tournaments?
I mean, they had like these weren't like a bunch of guys' laptops and PCs that they brought from home. Like it looked like I don't know who supplied the PCs, but they were legit like set up. Like these were actually donated for the convention.
Yeah, they were donated by some. I
can't remember the name of the. I can't remember the brand. They had a really big tabletop and gaming area. Like this was and it was actually used as a walkway to get through as a fast pass to get through the crowds. You could walk through there. No ticket either. I think they did a really good job with that this year compared to previous years where I thought, again, that space was totally unutilized. But this year they did a really good job with it.
They also ran a lot more tournaments in the tabletop area, like poker tournaments, card game tournaments. Which kept the tables full.
Yeah, I bitch about why is there all this non-anime shit at anime cons, but honestly, people go to it, people like it. I mean, I saw a ton of League of Legends cosplay. I mean, tons of people were playing it. You know, whatever, it gets people there. I mean, more power to you guys. Whatever.
League of Legends commission.
Yeah, I can imagine. League has been. LOL has been just so popular. It's not even funny.
And then talking about Baycon, they had D&D tournaments at Fanime.
Oh, do they really?
Yes, at the tabletop area.
Wow. Charlie's like, what?
How do you do a D&D tournament?
Well, it's
not
more just a quick game.
Just a session.
I was just going to say, when
you
you
win.
say tournament, I'm like,
Okay. Maybe not a tournament.
The winner
but
gets to go and play in the next round of D&D with other people.
Okay, well, Lane, thank you very much for all that great info. I'm sure we've bored half the podcast here, and then 3/4 of our listeners with this
Kendall's
talk.
probably the only one listening right now.
But we get to pay for those press badges somehow. So, FanimeCon, if you're listening, thank you once again for your supporting the Comic Conspiracy podcast. Go to your wonderful convention. We'll be there next year.
Thank you.
But we have one other big thing to talk about here, and that is...
Is it something green?
It is. It is something very
something
green.
sad.
Is it Kermit the Frog?
Fucking incredible.
That's what it is. Is it Kermit the Frog?
This past week, fan favorite of the Comic Conspiracy, Green Lantern by Jeff Johns, the final issue number 20, published this past Wednesday. The end of Jeff Johns' 9 and some odd month. I think it was close, about 9, a little over 9 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Like a little over 9 years.
Run on Green Lantern ended with the giant, like quadruple-sized Green Lantern number 20.
Such a beautiful book.
Which is the end of the War of the First Lantern, or Wrath of the First Lantern arc that had been running in the last few months. Hey, I'm caught up on a book. First time for everything, right? I powered through all the tie-in stuff and got caught up in order for this past Wednesday. And I think most of us here will admit. I think did you read it? Bryce is reading it as we speak, even though he hasn't read a Green Lantern comic in a while.
Since issue 6, but I'm like I'm almost halfway done with this one.
Okay,
it's
okay.
fucking great.
No spoil. We'll let you keep reading. We'll spoil away. But
man.
Did Lane
shows up? Ooh.
Lane, you caught up in this at all? Or?
I flipped through this issue. I'm not caught up on the series. I'm only on. I think I'm on issue 16 of all the books, all the Green Lantern books right now.
If we talk spoilers, you good?
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna talk spoilers about Green Lantern 20. So if you haven't read it, stop, go read it. If you have read it, we're gonna talk here for a little bit about it. I think all of us have read it. Little, maybe a little misty-eyed, especially towards the end there. The end of a very long run. We're all huge fans of Jeff Johns here, especially Green Lantern. His run here on Green Lantern, and I joke on Twitter that he threw in everything but the kitchen sink, and then I turned the page.
I looked. I couldn't find a kitchen sink.
Well, then I turned the page and I'm like, oh, there's the kitchen sink. But Johns threw just about everything from his run in here, in some fashion. Every aspect of Green Lantern comes in the final issue here for this fight, and while I think there may be a couple story elements that I'm like, well, okay, he kind of maybe rushed this or didn't get to quite have this go all the way. To me, this is a very satisfying wrap up. They could have ended Green Lantern at the end of this issue.
Yes, they could.
The way the book ends, they could be like, and we're done, and no more Green Lantern comics. And maybe some people will think that that's the way.
I think that's
what they should
actually
do.
a big divide. That a lot of people they just were on Green Lantern because of Jeff Johns.
And this is an ending if you want it.
Yeah, and it's the way I wanted it to end. So
I think maybe that's a good and a bad thing because it's harder to get people to stick to it. But on the other hand, for the Jeff Johns guys, there's a nice little bookend to it.
Yeah,
I think the weirdest thing for me is by the end of this issue, there's a lot of stuff they did in this issue where I'm like, so yes, I see there's still more story out there for like Kyle to be told and like stuff like that. But at the same
when
time,
does he become Jesus? That's what I want to know.
At the same time, I look at it and be like, I kind of don't want anybody ever to touch Sinestro again. I kind of.
Well, they kind of set it up a little bit that maybe no one will touch Sinestro for a while.
For a while, I'm sure, but at the same time, it's almost like I kind of feel like this wraps him up in such a way where I don't see a need to like ever bring him back because it just gives you that sort of resolution that feels like, and that's where his story should be ended.
And
right.
The way I feel about it too, like, and this is a funny thing. Like, I love Green Lantern. The reason I love Green Lantern so much is because of what Johns did with Sinestro. He became like my fucking favorite character ever, more so than Doctor Doom. And I was like, there's no one that's going to be more fucking bigger to me than Doctor Doom. And like, Sinestro. And
it's because he now has a cape.
No.
Well, real quick, you're talking about Sinestro, and this is going to pique Charlie's interest here. I got an email earlier, and anyone that have read Green Lantern 20, if you want to send us in your thoughts, we'll maybe talk about a bunch of them next week.
Love it.
But I did get one here, preemptive on this podcast from Miles, an email here, and he says, hey guys, last week marked the end of the Jeff Johns Green Lantern run, and it was amazing. I hope to do some kind of omnibus of his whole run from Rebirth to now. And Charlie's like, me too. It'll be on my shelf.
Well, I'm just like, it's got to be a couple of omnibuses because one omnibus would.
We would have to have a double Charlie size.
Oh, it'll
Charlie
be a couple
twice.
of omnibuses.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they want to try and
Alter
cram
the
that
whole thing.
into like one omnibus, it would just break every bookshelf you put it on.
The Teen Titans Jeff Johns omnibus was a little over 50 issues, and his run on Green Lantern, if you take out Blackest Night, the crossovers, if you just do the Jeff Johns written Green Lantern comics, whether it's the Blackest Night issues, the specials, the tie-ins, it's a little over 100 issues.
Yeah.
So they could probably do two of them with a
first, right?
Blackest Night sort of omnibus stuck in the middle somewhere. I think you do a specific Blackest Night omnibus of the entire crossover, and then two of the rest of the series. But Miles has one question. He says, was the person telling the story to the New Lantern, was that Sinestro? And yeah, it was. It clearly. I mean, not,
Of course.
not clearly, but at the end.
No, totally. I mean, he says it. I ripped the book. I mean, those pages.
Yeah, at the end, it's clearly Sinestro.
I mean,
so
as you're going, color,
as you're going through, I mean, I could be like, okay, well, who is this? But no, at the end, it's clearly Sinestro that's telling the story. And it's interesting that they've set Sinestro up to like run the core in some fashion,
well, Hal's running the core next, so
right. Well, we still have these Guardians, so I guess we should. Charlie, you wanna give us the quick plot synopsis here? Just quick. Give us the quick version.
Just a quickie.
Okay, so the quick synopsis of this issue is: so Hal Jordan was left in the dead zone, died, came back with big fucking army of Black Lanterns to take on the first Lantern, who was trying to rewrite reality. And Hal basically, as you said, threw everything at him, including the kitchen sink, by summoning Necron.
When I turned the page and he had summoned Necron, my jaw was just like, oh my god!
It made me want to go back and play like all my old school Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, all those fucking incredible games where you can, get those cool ass fucking characters.
Well, like he summons Necron, right? It's like here's my attack. I summon Necron and attack the boss with him.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
It was pretty great.
And so that was, well, I skipped over one little part where first he basically expels all the emotional energy from the first Lantern, so he was just a human, and then he sticks Necron on him.
Wasn't that cool though?
Yeah.
The fact, I mean, was Volthoom always said to be a human, or was it this issue?
Well, and in the beginning of the arc, we don't really know much about Volthoom, this friendly guy. We don't know, it is implied that he's some sort of,
when Krona was viewing the creation of the universe this
is a classic DC Comics thing.
There were two things that seemed to be changed about that viewing of the creation of the universe. One, a human astronaut appeared.
Yeah, we still don't know his whole story.
Okay.
Like, weird human astronaut appears there.
But he is human.
And he sees a ring on the hand,
on the back of the hand.
That's sort
right. Which we find out later is Volthoom.
So it's sort of like this weird, sort of self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
And you could even read into
because he's trying
scene.
to, as the first Lantern, he's trying to rewrite creation from the very beginning.
So the scene where his hands sort of closing around the spark would be them viewing the creation. Like it's this weird sort of self-fulfilling prophecy where by going back and becoming the first Lantern, because he somehow time traveled back in time to when the Guardians were doing this, it seems.
Yeah.
It's the only way it really makes sense.
Yeah.
If you listen to last week's episode, you'll understand all this.
Yeah. Well, no, Volthoom, there is one more interesting part about him, and this is something that, again, they've never made any mention of, so we don't know what the connection is. But there is a previous character in DC continuity named Volthoom. He's actually only ever mentioned maybe once or twice, but he was the person that gave Powering in the Crime Syndicate his, basically his powers. Uh-huh. Whether it's a connection, I mean, it has to be. I mean, I guess it would be because he's a Green Lantern. But I don't really know. They've not really gone and explained who he is. Now, maybe it's something that we'll find out later. Maybe it's the next big Jeff Johns written, crossover will be about Volthoom and kind of his origin. And we're getting Crisis on New 52. And it could be. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, going back, though, to the human element, like if Volthoom's a human and then... the fucking sneaky ass little blue Guardians that are fucking now all dead, which I'm happy about.
Well, not all of them.
Well, I know. Well, there's the Templar Guardians.
They explained
but they're the good Guardians.
Origin by basically when the Guardians expelled their emotions, that basically created the first Lantern that Volthoom pretty much took from there and became...
I mean, he basically was every emotion, right? I mean, so he's kind of like a White Lantern, but way more powerful.
He was basically the absorbed emotional power of the Guardians when they expelled their emotions. So the great heart or whatever that they poured all their emotions to, he basically co-opted and turned him into the first Lantern, which gave him power over reality, sort of similar, I was thinking about to like Zero Hour and all of that, where when Hal got powered up, he started fucking with reality too. So
I just think it makes Hal's origin that much cooler that he was the first Lantern after the original first Lantern too. I don't know. Something that I was just thinking a little bit more. It was never really talked on. It's just more of a suggestive, kind of cool.
But I mean, all in all, one of my things that I loved about this issue, going back into the synopsis, is that there would have sort of been considered the big sort of finale of what they were doing. But no, there's still about half the issue going into now they need to resolve the Sinestro-Hal relationship.
And Sinestro, he's the fucking man.
Yeah.
We're just going to full on spoil this.
Yeah.
He goes... Oh, yeah, Parallax? Oh, yeah. Oh, first of all, by the way, I'm going to be a Yellow Lantern again. And second of all, oh, yeah, Parallax, get inside me.
I found that interesting
mine.
that evidently Parallax has been hiding in the Yellow Lantern since War of the Green Lanterns.
That makes... I think that sounds right. Because he's been...
Parallax is...
and by the way, I'm going to resummon all the... I'm going to unhide all the... Well, because Parallax had... Or Sinestro had, basically... imprisoned all the Yellow Lanterns. To
He
get rid of
basically caused them all to go comatose at the end of the first New 52 Green Lantern arc. When they had basically taken over his home planet, so he went and shut them all down.
Yeah. Minus Arkilla, I think.
Arkilla's still running around.
He got... let's see. Arkilla went to the Weaponers,
right?
And basically got his ring retooled.
Right. So he was the last Yellow Lantern. But
he was like the torchbearer, like Kyle.
Yeah. So just, the fact that we got Necron, the fact that we got, full-on Parallax back in this issue, and now freaking Parallax Sinestro, which is the scariest thing. And he's like, I'm just going to kill all the Guardians. Well, almost all the Guardians.
Just leave one. Leave one for my buddy.
They brought back Said.
Yeah.
Said. I never know pronounce it. And freaking...
I fucking love how he had it in a fucking bag, too. He's all, the trade.
Yeah. Said and Ganthet are now back and being all lovey-dovey, and then we have the good Guardians, I guess. What do they call them? I forget what they call them.
The Templar
Guardians.
Guardians.
Yeah, which are like the Guardians that were basically the good Guardians that didn't expel their emotions. There were
those hippies.
Yeah, the hippie Guardians, and now Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, the leader of the Green Lantern
Man.
I don't think I mentioned this on this podcast at least, but so I reread all of Jeff Johns' Green Lantern building up to this.
Wow.
They have had Aya and the Interceptor in Green Lantern issues already.
They really?
Yeah, during War of the Green Lanterns.
Was it straight up Aya? And the
Well,
Interceptor?
she never... It was the
I
AI
don't
in there
remember
was
that.
called Aya. It was the straight up Interceptor. It was the ship that they had hidden on the ice planet when they had to take off the Green Lantern rings.
Really? What,
Yeah.
what
I
did you
do not remember this. I'll have to go back
No,
and
don't worry
reread
about it.
those.
I'll look. I'll look.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Oh, you know what?
You find it.
I have some vague recollection. Maybe the ship being on the cover of one of the issues.
I like the fact that the minute people didn't believe Charlie, he was going for the book. To prove everybody wrong. Look.
yeah, but we're out of the book, so that becomes harder.
Oh, right. We'll get it back in.
But no.
Oh, that's the
I
aftermath.
just
yeah.
I just found that interesting.
Oh,
That,
yeah, because I was
that they
bitching
were
about
there.
that. Yeah. Well, you know what's funny too? Because reading Red Lanterns, which I still really like, Rancor, who's like the human Red Lantern,
Yeah.
man, he's okay, but I want to see them. I gotta say, okay, I actually liked Red Lanterns, and the last couple issues were kind of dumbed down. Where
The issue 20 was
that was okay, that was good,
Yeah.
that was good. But the rest of them, they were like, oh, I'm
you have to come kill me because
his
I
face?
didn't unkill my.
yeah. Did you read any of this, Omar?
No, I haven't read any of the Red Lanterns for the last like 5 issues.
What the hell's his name? What the Atrocitus is like the first Lantern. Yeah, he gave me the power to resurrect my people, but if I resurrect my people, then I will still become a mass murdering Hitler killer dictator guy. So I just want to live the life I've normally lived, but since I had a chance to bring him back, now I'm the guy that blew up Sector 666 because it was my choice to not unmake it, so now all the Red Lanterns have to kill me. And it's like, what?
That was awkward.
Because
It's like, what
their
the-
whole purpose was basically getting vengeance on the person who destroyed.
The Manhunters and the
Yeah.
Guardians, yeah.
And now he's pretty much was taking it all on himself because he had the opportunity
To bring it back.
This is the problem. Peter Milligan or whoever else is writing that shit.
Yeah.
He did not give us enough fucking panel time to fucking
Bleeze?
Bleeze needed to run that shit. No, not Bleeze. No, not Bleeze. The cat. What's the fucking cat's name?
The cat's awesome.
Dexstar. Dexstar. It should have been a Dexstar comic.
Dexstar gets some action. Bleeze gets some action. Yeah, a little bit.
Bleeze got a lot of.
Dude, did you read the Stormwatch Bleeze?
That was
The
incredible.
Stormwatch
Yeah,
Red
he fucked
Lantern?
that shit up.
Yeah.
He fucked that gay dude up.
Dude, Jesus.
Fuck that.
That yayoi dude.
When he's going back to Earth, when Dexter is going back to Earth, and he just has like the thought bubble of like, I'm gonna fucking kill Apollo and Midnighter. Well, that was awesome.
He got that full.
That was awesome.
Apollo was crying somewhere.
That was good stuff. But yeah, Green Lantern 20, man. I don't know. Like, so, I mean, obviously it's going to be way different going forward. And I'm really curious to see what Robert Venditti is going to do. He's a very good writer.
What are people going to do that are? I mean, how many of us, if we can go around the table really quick, if we have time, are reading all the books?
I won't stop.
I'm reading
I'll
them all.
continue.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, for me, I think I'm just going to go Green Lantern and GLC.
I mean, if they're good, I'll
Not
read them.
Larfleeze.
No,
Not Larfleeze.
no, because Scott Collins sucks ass. I'm sorry.
You know what? I used to love Scott Collins. His art's not what it used to be. But Keith Giffen writing a Larfleeze series, I am down.
I'll be there for issue 1 and 2, and we'll see. We'll see what
because this is gonna be. It's gonna be fun.
I hope so.
I hope it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
'Cause it really feels like it.
I'll definitely give every one of the new books a
Look,
chance.
I never gave two craps about Hal Jordan and Green Lantern really before Jeff Johns' run. I mean, I've read a lot of them, but it was never, sorry Kyle fans, but it was never my favorite. I like Kyle, right? I really like Kyle.
You should love him.
Tony,
He's like
Jeff-
all artsy,
Grant
emo.
Morrison's- I
He's
love-
the Morrissey all the time.
I love him because of Grant Morrison's run on JLA.
Tony's going to come and kick your ass.
No, she's perfect. They're all cool, right?
All I can say is I'm probably the only one at the table that was already a pretty huge Green Lantern
Yeah,
fan.
you were a
Yeah,
big
that's probably
Kyle.
the case.
You were a big Kyle fan.
Isn't it crazy
Well,
though? Like,
actually, it's not that I was a big Kyle fan. Like, I wasn't picking up the Kyle books regularly, but
But you just named
anytime
your son
Parallax
Kyle?
showed up, anytime Hal popped up as a bad guy, I was...
Yeah.
so John's, he has his hand not just in comics but movies and everything else, whatever. But doesn't this dude look really familiar to you? Doesn't this guy, this little newbie Green Lantern guy? This is the guy that was the character. He looks very much like the dude in the animation. In,
smiley
Emerald Knights.
face.
Emerald Knights. He was like the new recruit kid or something.
Could be. Well, they also mentioned this new female human lantern.
Yeah.
At the very end, kind of in one of the epilogue bits.
More human lanterns.
Yeah, female
the
human
one
lantern.
that's gonna fuck everything up.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. I
So
like that.
we'll see what happens there. That's interesting. And they kind of go into like a.
Is there a lot of humans already being lanterns?
Oh yeah, but
Well, now we know why, because humans are more powerful than the rest of the universe. We evolved through them, right?
Yeah, we all have Hitler complex, right?
Exactly.
But at the very end of it, they have this nice little kind of epilogue of all the different characters and where they end up. And, and Jon Stewart becoming like a senator or president or something. And,
Totally.
And Kyle, as you joked earlier, becoming Jesus and basically being the White... Well, apparently, the Kyle, he's White Lantern. Like, that's it. He is the White Lantern going forward. They're not going to make him the Green Lantern, at least no time soon. Yeah. Which I think is... That's cool. Like, do something different with
and
that.
I like the fact that they're making it clear that he no longer has any core to answer to, which is one thing I really like about it. He's kind of a core in and of himself, similar to kind of Larfleeze in some ways. But
it's also kind of,
I think that's
also kind of nice with his. His says that he passes, and he passed doing what he was doing as White Lantern, which was helping people. So like that was a nice little touch to it. Especially for his character. So,
even though it's weird, like the way they explain what becomes of Kyle seems very reminiscent of the Blue Lanterns to me. So,
yeah, I mean, a lot of the Green Lantern stuff going forward, nothing. It's like, they kind of just do their thing, and Larfleeze just is Larfleeze, and blah, blah, blah. But a few of them seem like pretty different. I mean, they're going to do some different stuff with these characters, and I'm curious to see how much of this plays up right away and how much of this never comes to pass.
It sounds like the Green Lantern core book and the Red Lantern book are still going to be very closely tied from the original plans there.
Well, I mean, I know the cover kind of spoils it, but is Guy going to...
That's what it seems like.
Straight up be a Red Lantern?
For a while, at least.
That's cool.
Like.
That's cool. Well, it's funny because in the last issue of Green Lantern Corps, they totally just set up that, like, no, I'm going back out into space. I'm Green Lantern forever until next issue when I'm going to be a Red Lantern.
But it's like...
Is he blowing up blood, too?
So, if he's a Red Lantern, yeah.
Green Lantern is going to be Hal's book now being in charge of the Corps, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Green Lantern Corps and Red Lanterns are going to be closely tied, especially with Guy Gardner becoming a Red Lantern. New Guardians is going to be the Kyle/Templar Guardians book. Mm-hmm. And then Larfleeze is the Larfleeze book, which everybody should buy.
But you know what? It's funny because I think when you have Green Lantern Corps, and New Guardians, they all kind of were in the same feel. To me, this really separates these books, and I think that's needed going out of the Green Lantern Corps, because people are like, "Oh, why do you have so many?" Well, they are all completely different titles at this point. They don't have to connect at all. They could be. I mean, Larfleeze can just be completely separate. Red Lanterns, if they wanted to, could be completely separate.
Well, from what I understood, from what I gathered from the first couple of covers for the Green Lantern book, it sounds like the first order of business is going to be establishing. Now that Hal's running the Green Lantern Corps, it sounds like each issue is going to be how that Corps now relates to the other Corps.
Right.
Because if you look at, like, one cover is like Hal with the Star Sapphires, and then the next cover was like Hal with Larfleeze, and the next cover.
Okay.
So I think
setting boundaries,
Yeah, I think the first arc is going to be him basically renegotiating what it means to be these different Corps in the universe now.
Well, because I mean that's the thing is the Red Lanterns are for rage and they're for vengeance and stuff like that. So it's like you can't step in and say, well, no, you can't do that because. It's an emotional spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't go, oh, you can't stop love or you can't do this. So
yeah. No, I feel bad because Bryce, I got you down here for a podcast, and we're talking about anime and Green Lantern all day. So
no, I love Green Lantern. I like anime. I just I'm not as plugged in.
No, I know. Do you think will you go pick up the trades or something and finish out through Green Lantern 20?
So this is what's going on for the listeners in the podcast that don't care about my personal life, but I'll tell you guys anyway. Currently working with the wife in terms of budgeting around...
you had a kid.
Getting a place.
So
we had a kid.
You're trying to get a place.
Get a place. And so my all my Batman and Green Lantern got cut out in favor of all these amazing X titles.
So
you would have had more money cutting the X titles that are crap.
You cut Batman and Green Lantern. You kept Age of Apocalypse and Extreme X-Men. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute.
And X-Men Legacy.
And X-Men Legacy. I'm going to let that sink in there for a minute.
I'm still getting them, but that's because there are certain binds that are more worthwhile than other binds.
I understand.
And, I'm eventually going to get all
no
of
holes.
These Green Lantern stuff.
No holes.
I'm eventually going to get all of the Green Lantern stuff, and I'm going to bind it, and it's going to be a motherfucking pretty bind.
Nice.
I have, of Jeff Johns' run, I probably have 90% of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just missing issues 7 through 19.
20.
Yeah, 20.
And the crossover stuff.
So anyway, I love it, and I'll get back to it. But yeah, no worries.
Cool.
Did we talk about how every other 5 to 6 pages there's like a cool ass little page dedicated to all the people that were part of the creators? Or
I'm sad I wasn't
Part of
asked to be a part of this, but I wish I could have lend my voice to this list of all time.
I thought I was
going to
see your name on one of the last pages.
Nah.
It would have just been man crying dash Ryan Higgins.
Yeah, that would have been me. No,
I still remember that one time we were at fucking the last WonderCon in that fucking Green Lantern panel, and you went up to the it was your turn finally in line. He's all, Ryan? I was like,
no.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Ryan.
That's not how it went.
How'd it go?
He stood in line, and it was Ryan's turn, and then he goes, hey, Jeff, I got a question. And he was like, hey, what's up, Ryan? And everybody just, turned. He was like, what's up?
It's this, fucking big-ass, big old fucking
The whole
famous
room
dude.
just got quiet.
Yeah, I was like,
who is
fuck
this
it.
man?
He's all... I love how Ryan is blushing right now.
I'm not saying anything.
They got some yowie time to get it.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, now.
Or Ryan would like to.
Back when he was doing Hawkman, right?
No,
seriously though, dude. Johns is the reason. I mean, obviously, you pushing me in that direction.
Yeah.
That I love DC as much as I do now because, it got me into Teen Titans, got me into fucking Justice League. Was it fucking Justice Society?
JSA.
I didn't give a fuck about Justice Society. All these I want to watch a fucking bunch of old geezer fucking
Stargirl.
Yeah. Well, he changed that with
Old
Stargirl.
men with those young women.
He changed it with Black Adam, with having an anti-hero Wolverine kind of character.
Yeah.
I mean, he did all these cool-ass fucking things throughout all these, important titles, but in a lot of ways, just people, it was under the radar kind of shit. But, he worked through the bottom of the list and went up to the top. And, I think what he did with, Green Lantern is just fuck. Hopefully we can get another... Johns. I mean, it looks like Snyder is that for Batman right now. But we'll see. We'll see.
We do have Johns continuing on Justice League and Justice League of America. Justice League of America, which we found out with this issue that apparently Doug Monkey is going to be working with him on.
So that's the reason why I'm going to stay on it. Because Finch, I'm sorry, Finch. I loved your shit. I think you're one of the best cover artists out there, but your interiors suck ass.
And he's still Aquaman.
And he's still an Aquaman. But, I don't know what, maybe some people are on or off about... Boz,
rough, dude.
But what the hell's his face? What the hell's his full name?
Dude, his interior's Fabok, dude.
What is the new Green Lanterns? The new human Green Lanterns full name?
That was the best time.
Boz.
I'm blanking on this. I'm blanking on his last name. Why am I just? Yeah, I think it's right in there. So he's going to be in that. So Jeff Johns will still be writing a Green Lantern character he created in Justice League of America.
You'll be sick too if Badge finds a way on the Justice League of America.
Oh! Can I say this? Nort, bitches.
Yeah,
Nort
showed up. It was about time you showed up.
Yeah, it's like, where have you been for the last 20 years? He's like, sorry, I was late. Motherfucking Nort in the house.
Yeah, Nort
he's my favorite.
Simon Baz. Baz is the last name.
Simon Baz. I don't know why I was spazzing on that. Yeah, dude, Nort.
Simon's his American name, don't worry.
Nort is back. Nort's the best.
Yep.
He's funny as fuck.
Nort's awesome. He's so good. Where have you been, Nort? Where have you been for 20 years?
Can I just ask, since I was just reading through it during the talk just now, and Nort showed up, and I was like, oh, I remember Nort from when I was a kid.
Way back in the day.
I don't remember him from any of John's run.
He's not been
this
around.
Panel is sort of symbolic, and that Ryan and the other guys are going to understand it much better. But so did he just disappear? Because I was like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Best to my knowledge, post the Giffen DeMatteis Justice League of like the late 80s, early 90s, I don't know that he's shown up very often.
Wasn't there like a short story about him in one?
There may probably. He's
like one Lantern issue.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure he's been around a little bit, but he has not been around for a long time. And dude, if they're bringing North back in, it's like some serious capacity. Dude, he's a joke character, but he's a great character because he's funny. It's a fun character, and I think Green Lantern lends itself to those types of characters. I mean, we have. I would say Dig, but Badge as an official pronunciation as of a few issues ago. I love him, and dude, he was rocking those last few issues of Green
He's
Lantern.
like little Yoda. He's like little Yoda. He just fucking goes over. He's all small and fucks people up.
Yeah, dude, Badge is awesome.
This sounds a little like Boy Meets World. It's like
he's-
when the sister disappears for like an entire season and she just randomly shows up in another season and you go, oh, you've been in your room for a really long time.
Well, they sent him to
Boy
Earth.
Meets Girl was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Well, they sent him to Earth because he looks like a chipmunk, or a squirrel, right? So he's running around and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna mess up these."
Speaking of Boy Meets World or Girl Meets World, is Pachanga coming back? I saw this
What?
shit.
Topanga.
Yeah.
Topanga. I'm sorry.
Topanga.
Topanga. I don't know. I was
He
mixing
got
it
that
with,
shit right,
I was
yo.
mixing it with some other shit like fucking Patagonia.
No,
or
they're
something.
doing a sequel show. They're doing a sequel show called Girl Meets Boy now, and Girl Meets World. That'll be a different kind of show. Yeah. But Corey and Topanga are parents at this point.
Yeah. No, I saw some pictures of Topanga recently. And
In Maxim.
yes, like it's just funny when you get older and mothers look fucking amazing. There's something about breast milk.
All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a great point to wrap up on.
Breast milk?
So we're gonna wrap up this
We're
podcast.
wrapping up. We gotta talk Furious 6, yo.
Oh, Jesus.
There's fucking great reveal at the end of the movie for a Fast and Furious 7 villain. Fucking huge. Spoiler alert. Can I say it? Can I say
Are
it?
they going like the Avengers route or what?
Dude, it's been Avengers since 5, man. Okay. They've been getting all the characters teaming up, man. This is like
give us your few minutes.
He's so excited. If you see Toby right now,
Hold on, Toby, do it fast and do it furious. Okay?
Hey, listen. There's not too many times where I'm sitting in a movie theater and I go, holy shit, and actually yell it outright. I mean, like, I was sitting there and it was like, they've been doing this Marvel kind of trailer thingy at the end of the movies, little teasers, and they show a scene from Tokyo Drift, and they show who actually killed Han, and out comes fucking Jason Statham! I was like, holy motherfucker!
Had he been in the previous movies or no?
No, he's brand new. Yeah, and they're pulling a Die Hard 2, or whichever Die Hard it was. He's the brother of the villain of Fast and Furious 6. So the brother's coming for revenge. I'm really, really excited.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, they're like going to make these movies forever, huh? They made, how much money did they do this weekend? It made some ridiculous amount of money.
It kicked ass. It kicked some major ass.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to look it up real quick. I know it made just.
But I'm very, very excited for Fast 7 at this point, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm just really bummed that Justin Lin is not directing it.
Who is?
The guy from Saw that did the Saw movies.
120 million opening weekend.
James Wan?
Yeah.
120 million, 200 million worldwide.
Fuck yeah.
Jesus.
Dude, this movie, like, all right, let's be honest. It's not going to win any fucking Oscars. It's just a fun series. Dude, but...
imagine if it came out on a non-memorial holiday.
Dude, I mean, Fast 5 was fun.
No, that's why it made so much money, because it came out, because freaking the theaters were packed this weekend of people seeing Fast and Furious.
Here's my thing. Fast 5 was a lot of fun, and a lot of people like it because it's different than the other Fast movies, but Fast and Furious 6 just went on another... I mean, I keep saying we're on another level. It definitely went another level with humor, with dialogue. It's just overall all better.
Cool.
That's my thing. Cool. Now I have another thing to wrap up.
What's your wrap?
It was the series finale of Smash. I would like to talk about that.
What is
Is that a joke?
obviously,
We're not watching Smash.
obviously Toby's starting to date some girl. He's trying to come through like, oh, listen to my podcast.
We gotta talk about Smash.
What the
singing
hell
is really
is Smash?
good.
It's actually some like bullshit like adult Glee.
What?
It's a show
awesome.
about some chick trying to make it on Broadway.
The only
Never
good thing
heard of
about
it.
it is
They did
No,
under
it's not
pressure.
that- it's not
They did under pressure in the last episode. I was really amused by
Never
that.
even heard
the
of
only
this.
good thing about it is that chick that played Glinda in fucking Wicked, because that chick is fucking hot.
Is this
She's
like
banging.
CW
I love
No,
I love
it's-
chicks that are fucking got some fucking curves and shit on Hollywood. Not Michelle Williams.
No.
But this chick is blonde, but she was
Oh,
Glinda.
the one that was in like Louis is the heckler.
I don't know, but I don't know. She's got some big ass titties though.
Titties.
Fuck.
She does.
Well, okay.
Can we just tell people to watch a decent show that's now on Netflix?
Show. I really like the director, dude. You should too. The director dude is fucking awesome.
So, yes, even though I haven't seen it all, I know Brock wants to shout out for the first 2 episodes of Arrested Development that we both watched.
Oh yeah,
I know people marathon that shit really fast. I've only watched the first 2, so I gotta.
I've watched the first 3. I think I'm on 4, but it's good to have him back. It's so good to have it back.
I've watched the first 2. It's okay.
Yeah, I heard Leanne was not very impressed with it either.
The first 2 were okay.
Don't ask me why I know, but I just knew.
It's awesome.
Oh, okay, I believe it, Charlie. I mean,
say, Charlie.
Charlie, don't piss off the Charlie.
I want it to be the best thing ever. So I'm gonna.
Scary man.
I want to marathon through these. I just have not been. I've not had time. So
Charlie,
we'll get through it.
Was it awkward that Lindsay's character looked as different as she did?
Okay, well, Charlie's not here, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up, guys. We'll probably maybe we'll talk a little bit about Arrested Development next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop. My mic is off. Yeah. No, it's not. We can still hear you. Well, your mic is off, but we can still hear you in the background. We're gonna wrap up now. Thank you for listening. And if you
no, the club.
Oh. Jesus!
Oh, yeah,
son of a forget me bitch!
Fuck, Ryan, dude, that's your main thing, dude.
Settle down.
Ryan,
Crossed out, guys.
Settle down.
I'm gonna smack you
So
across the fucking face.
Earlier, I think yesterday and today, me and Bryce and a couple of our listeners on Twitter, and Bryce had their names. And
Josh and Ryan.
Josh and Steve.
No, I'm Josh. I'm Ryan.
Joshua. And
Yeah, you are Josh.
I'm
Josh and Martin.
Steve.
No, it was Josh and Steve.
Yeah, Josh and Steve.
Josh Redding and Steve Lessig.
Yeah, a couple of our guys on
My
Twitter.
boys.
They actually made a very good
Marvel Love.
Yeah, they made a very good suggestion about a Comic Conspiracy book club. And we beforehand, as the podcast talked about it, and by talking about it means I decided everything, and everyone goes, okay, fine. That's it.
Yeah, which is why we're gonna miss an episode.
That's a Brock slam right there. So
Okay.
Wait,
I think it was actually pretty much decided by Josh and Steve before it even got
I know.
to you. But
So here's what we're gonna do. The plan is, at least going forward, the first podcast of every month, which will be the first Monday of every month, we're going to have a rotating group of people on this podcast, but one of them, and I start with myself, probably just because I'm here and I know the stock we have, so we know what we have in stock to read. We're going to pick a book to read. And on the last podcast of the month, so the last Monday of the month, we will have a short segment, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and we will discuss that book. So you basically have a month.
Why don't we just do it the first week? We discuss the book from the previous month and then give you the new one.
No, give a little break in between. Yeah.
I know.
That gives people time. That gives people time because you talk about the book from the previous month and then they have the whole
shut up,
month.
Brock.
Yeah, no, the first. Just it's a little bit of a
No,
break.
it's called Surebrock.
Shit,
So-
it's a Sherbrooke. Get it right.
It's a little bit of a break. So there's that week in between where no one's before us reading things. So you have about 3 weeks to go through this book and read it. We're going to pick like single volume graphic novels, not fucking something giant like Cerebus or Blankets. I mean, I guess we could, but probably not.
I just want to lay down the truth here. So really, people got tired of us not reading books. So now they're really just forcing
Yeah.
us to read something.
Well, it's great. I mean, it's something that gives us a reason to read something that maybe we wouldn't read or something different.
Start with Superman.
No, well, we're going to start. I don't know what we're going to start with, but we're going to try to keep
starting
these
with
two.
Superman.
We're going to start with the Zelda book.
We're going to keep these two single volumes. If they're parts of a series, it'll be either the first volume or a very standalone volume. Something like Blackest Night would be a great example of something that's involved in a major series, but is something that you can read standalone. I'm not going to make people read like the 5th volume of an ongoing series because that probably wouldn't make.
We should
a lot of
pick
sense.
something that's not as common, though.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
well, it's
Not something that we already read, and everybody already read too.
No, I mean, I would say I hope
Not
people will-
Batman Hush.
I hope people will pick stuff that they are either very curious in reading and haven't read, and it's therefore a good example, a good reason to read it, or something that they feel very, very strongly about and is underappreciated or maybe not as widely read
First
by
Wave.
other people. So I don't really like First Wave.
No?
Oh, it's not that good.
Okay.
So
Joe
next
the
week.
Barbarian.
So the plan
We'll
is
go
next
next
week.
wave.
I'll probably start, and then we'll just go around the table probably and just have Brock go next, and Bryce. We'll get you in here, or Lane or some of our other guests. You guys can jump in here at times when it's because it's going to be one book a month. So we'll as time goes on, we'll get other people in here. So that's June 3rd. We're going to pick a book, and then on the 24th, which will be the final podcast, we'll discuss it. And if people read it,
the final podcast,
the final podcast of the month.
Oh,
you know what you can even do on your on your guys' was it Geekbox little Facebook page?
You
maybe do a polling questionnaire on the 4 books that
do you mean
that we're talking about, and let them select it, huh?
Yeah.
Why don't we use the power of social media? What do you think, guys?
Don't you mean the Gearbox?
Gearbox. That was
Gearbox.
Probably do.
That's a Fanime reference.
I think we need to get
The
this
Yahweh
started
box?
first, and then we can introduce the social media.
So we'll.
I like this voting thing. This is a fucking good idea.
all together now.
So next week we'll start this. And if you people at home have read this book or want to read this book along with us, go ahead and read it. And then for the final episode, just send us your thoughts beforehand, and maybe we'll read 1 or 2 of the emails before as we're discussing them. That'd be awesome. So it's actually a really good idea. So Josh and Steve, thank you very much for the suggestion. I think it's
Thanks, Josh and
110
Steve.
episodes into the podcast. We're still coming up with new ideas. So thank you guys. It's a great
we
suggestion.
finally come up with good ideas.
Or good ideas. Someone not involved with the podcast comes up with a great idea and we steal it. So, yeah. Since Omar just mentioned it really quick, we have created a Facebook group for the Geekbox. We're probably just going to roll the comic stuff into it as well. I don't think we need a separate one.
Why not? I think we should.
Which, much like the Comedy Button, has a very, very large fan page and Facebook group on Facebook. We don't have one for
You
the
don't
Geekbox.
think we can stand on our own? That
There's
we
no
need
point.
to be living
Just
with the Geekbox?
Just roll it all together. It's all good, man. So if you search
we
for,
can interact.
if you search for Geekbox,
Have you been at a gaming store across from a comic book store?
if you search for the Geekbox group, for some reason I can't find a way for people to just join. Like I actually have to physically approve everyone that wants to go in there. So
Someone's looking for you, Bryce, on there. Someone was looking out for you over there in the Geekbox.
Something about administrator.
I looked through it, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, Bryce, you got a shout out of why
Yeah.
are you in the group, and I invited you to the group, so you're in the Geekbox group.
I invited you first, though. By the way,
Woo, Omar, my man.
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're looking for you, and they're looking for
It
Omar
was
at San
either
Diego.
because of X-Men / Marvel love or a little Yahweh action.
There's some
So,
private messages for you waiting.
Either way.
So go and join that, and we'll get you signed up for the group, and you can go have some good discussion in there. So it looks like a lot of people have joined up already.
Hey,
So
Ryan.
it's good times.
just special request. Can you put some Yahweh art on our fucking podcast third night?
Tonight maybe. But as always, Facebook groups do not allow pornography. Or Omar, this is for you. Facebook groups do not allow pornography. So please keep it to a minimum. Keep it to none, actually.
That's what your forums are for.
However, we have all sorts of other things we do. We've got the Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net is the email address if you want to send us emails for those wonderful podcast book club stuff. You can go to geekbox.net to find this episode and all our previous episodes, as well as comicconspiracy.biz. You can go on there. We have our digital storefront, which is digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. You can go buy some comics from us. Brock has his blog, conspiratorbrock.com. Omar has his website, Comics and Decline. Charlie has the Infinite Long Box podcast.
Infinite Long Box.
Infinite Long Box.
Since we have Lane here,
And Lane, your Bay
Lane.
Area.
the bow, but not necessarily the bow. Lane, you got some games going on. I think you should mention your games. You had a flyer up on your desk.
Oh yeah, I'm making iOS games now.
Cool.
But,
Do you want to pimp that yet?
Yeah,
now,
tell
or-
people to go download it.
Are they up?
yeah. Well, the first one is up for iPod. Is available. It's called
iPod?
Number Runner.
Just iPod?
Well, the iPad version I have to resubmit.
Oh, okay.
It'll be
so like
available in
iPhone.
about a
iPhone
week.
is
There's
up,
this
or-
great invention called the iPhone.
Yeah,
Is the iPhone up there?
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the iPhone.
And the
I mean iOS.
iPod Touch.
Just the smaller one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smaller screen iOS.
But you have a couple more games coming out, no?
Coming up, but
Yeah.
probably not for another month.
What's the first one called?
Number Runner.
Number
It's
Runner.
a puzzle game.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. Do you have any picture? Any pictures? Any
Do you have any pictures of numbers?
pictures of numbers.
Jeez. Yeah, you have any games where you like
every naughty
like
thing?
you know, like Metal Gear Solid? Remember how you the side game you take a picture of like the best picture of like the naked girls inside of the people's lockers. Remember that Metal Gear Solid? That's OG shit right there, right? Which Metal Gear was that? Was that Super Nintendo shit, or was that
Super
was that on PlayStation 2?
No, all of them have the Playboys now.
Yeah. Oh,
What?
really? Okay.
You have the Playboys, you put them in front of the soldiers, and they stop to look at them.
Yeah.
And Infinite Long Box podcast. You can go follow us all on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock's Brock Sager. Omar is Comics and Dakine. Toby is Toby XI. I'm sorry, Toby is Toby XI. Byrce Larsen is Larsen Bryce. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos.
Is he gone? He's disappearing?
He's in the back. Lane, do you have a Twitter?
I do not have Twitter.
Okay, congratulations.
Oh.
So don't follow Lane on Twitter.
Comedy Button videos. Last
Yes.
episode coming up this Friday for season 1.
Friday?
Oh, Wednesday maybe.
Yeah,
Wednesday
I think
maybe.
it's Wednesday.
Yeah, very last episode for Great America, so please go watch it, go support, have fun with it.
Yep. A lot of downloads on those things,
Yeah.
so go watch it. Really funny.
It'll be a while till I do the next season because I got a short film I got to finish in between, so enjoy these for now.
Cool.
Yeah, so go watch.
Comedy Button with the Geekbox's Ryan Scott and their trip to Great America with one of their $1,000 donators to their Kickstarter.
So sorry for that.
The second season's going to be completely different, by the way. It's going to be at the zoo, and it's going to have kind of a different setup, most likely.
Yeah, good stuff. So, all right, thank you everyone for listening, and we will start that book club next week.
You're gonna forget.
Book club. Can we have a cool name like the Supervillain Elite Forces Book Club?
We can have something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll Comic Conspiracy Black Dossier.
We'll think of a name next.
Something Unite, and
All
then
right.
we have to have
All
the letter